Let me just grab a pen, a good pen. Not that one. Hey, it's Punchlines, and it's a new Drawn Out. And today we're going to draw out Senator Jeff Merkley from the great state of Oregon on a subject near and dear to his heart, which is the filibuster, which I understand you've had issues with going way, way back. I mean, when you first arrived in the Senate.
I worked for Congress during the 1980s through the Congressional Budget Office. And again, I saw a Senate that works. It was a stunning shock to come here as a U.S. Senator in 2009 and to have witnessed the complete deterioration of the Senate as a legislative body and the use of the filibuster as essentially a tool of partisan warfare.
But wouldn't getting rid of the filibuster be changing the rules in the middle of the game?
This isn't about changing rules to favor any one group. It's to make sure that the Senate can function for whoever is in charge. It needs to be able to function when Republicans are in charge, and it needs to be able to function when Democrats are in charge.
In the Constitution, there's nothing about cloture. There's nothing about the word filibuster. It comes along much later.
That's right. So initially, the Senate had a rule to close debate, like most parliamentary bodies have. That rule was never utilized because you had 26 senators, and they said, hey, we can listen to everyone, share their opinion before we vote. That concept worked quite well, and when they rewrote the rule book in 1805, Aaron Burr said, we don't need this rule that's never been used, so we'll drop it.
Aaron Burr, sir? That's right, that Aaron Burr, the one who was famous for shooting Alexander Hamilton, also took a shot at changing the rules of the Senate. So when Burr was vice president in 1805, he cleaned up the Senate rule book and tossed out a rule that was part of the original rules of the Senate from 1789, the previous question motion that allowed a simple majority to close debate. This created the filibuster. Then in 1917, they decided to fix this situation and created something called cloture, which created the modern filibuster. And in this case, instead of a simple majority, the Senate rules required a supermajority to close debate in the Senate.
Filibuster is the Dutch word for pirate, right?
Yes, freebooter, the Dutch word that then translated freebooter, piracy, filibuster is the slang that it evolved into. Mm-hmm. And yet there still were very few cases in which a bill was talked to death up against the deadline.
I read someplace that it was used maybe 50 times between 1917 and 1970.
I have charts to lay all this out, this explosion in the use of the filibuster. Well, here's one way to put it, that when President Johnson was majority leader for 6 years, he filed a cloture motion one time to close debate. In 6 years that Harry Reid was majority leader, he had to file 400 motions. And these motions require a week of the Senate's time. If on Tuesday morning you file a cloture motion, you can't vote on it until Thursday, and by 30 hours of debate, the week's gone. And so the minority has not just obstructed, they have burned a week of the Senate's time.
So what would be the counter-argument to eliminating the filibuster?
There are two basic goals in the vision of the Senate. One is to make sure that every voice is heard, and this having to get a supermajority, so members of both parties, increases the probability of compromise and makes sure that the voice of every senator is heard in the process. The other goal, though, is to not enable the minority to paralyze the process. The Senate was designed as, in the words often attributed to President Washington, designed to be a cooling saucer, but it wasn't designed to be a deep freeze.
Matt, there's another aspect of this that has to be understood. The Senate is not filibuster or no filibuster. It's like some things are subject to this obstruction and some things have been carved out. So Mitch McConnell has changed the rules. So he has essentially carved his priorities out. So every time he stands up on the floor and defends the filibuster, what you should immediately think is, well, if you believe in it so powerfully, why did you carve your priorities out?
Is there a Merkley prescription for how to fix this?
There are multiple options. One is to eliminate the filibuster entirely. As you've noted, that doesn't seem too likely. Another is to do a carve-out like the Senate did in the 1970s and say on a constitutional issue like defending the ballot box, a sacred right to vote, that cannot be blocked by a minority. Mm-hmm. Another is to go to a talking filibuster.
We could actually insist that senators be present on the floor to vote on cloture.
We could say, listen, if there's going to be obstruction, you have to take the stand and make your case to the American people. This is about the course of our nation, the success of our families, and our stewardship of our national resources and our responsibility to the environment. I mean, these are big monumental issues being affected. So that's what we're fighting for, and we cannot lose. We have to find a way to get it done.